So do you think that this changing of the roles of each gender in today's society is the right direction?
Actually, our society is not healthy or balanced at all. If you compare it to, some old traditional societies, our society is masculine and only looks at very masculine aspects as being important. So, work, achievement, competition. Also, in the feminine sense, it's all about the external, the beauty, the physical beauty, what you do, how you do, what you dress, and the internal aspects are lost. And those are the aspects that are important to work with, what I was saying previously. So I don't believe our society is at all free. I think it's much more complicated to live in this society than it was in some more traditional societies where there were taboos that prevented you from doing certain things that were, easy to see. In our society, this is why young people today, find it very difficult. There is so much pressure to be and do things in a certain way. So that sense of freedom, it's not there. People, you have to be very strong to say, I don't want to follow in that direction and I want to do something for myself because I believe that's important. Most people just fall into the old and easy ways of doing things. And it's so masculine that even our perception of reality is changed. If we look at how we look at time and how we act out our lives, it is a very masculine way of doing things. So I don't believe this to be balanced at all. And it's our society, so we have to live with it. And this is where I believe, we can't just say no, or try to leave society and go somewhere and, create some sort of paradise. I believe we can do that in a relationship when we bring those aspects that are missing on the outside back into the relationship. And then that can create a sense of freedom to do what you want to do outside in society. And that requires two people to be so close that, their reference point isn't, I have to dress up in this way, or I have to do this, or I have to create this for myself to be happy. It is the relationship between two people.
And what are the normal, average relationships between men and women in today's society creating, if we look at the society as a whole?
Then you have to look at statistics to see that they don't last. No, I'm told anyway that marriage is absolutely an institution, and it's not really. I'm not against marriage, but how I see it is that it's a romantic idea, but for most people it's not really a happy ending. And most relationships, they are very nice in the beginning because Western society places a lot on romantic infatuation, which infatuation means that you are not really seeing the person for who they are. You're falling in love with an idea. And this is what I mean, coming back to the body. See, instead of actually relating to the person and seeing who the person is, you are projecting an image of who you would like the person to be. So infatuation lasts for as long as that image is maintained. And it can't be for 10 years, Usually people, after a few months or maybe 3 or 4 months, say, okay, there are aspects of this person that I'm not so comfortable with. And so then the intensity of love disappears and that connection wanes. And then the relationship is a relationship. People stay in the relationship because they're not wanting to be alone. They don't want to be lonely. They're afraid of leaving the relationship because it may mean that this or that happen. There is not that deep connection that creates the alchemical process, because I believe relationship can go deeper. It's not that, there is a romantic few months in the beginning and then, well, you just live together. I believe actually if you are listening to the person and listening to your body and listening to the reality of the other person that you're in relationship with, then you can only fall more and more in love with that person. It's impossible not to, because you recognize more and more of what you love with time. rather than, you know, saying, oh, I don't like this because this was just an idea of the person. You completely see what is beautiful about the person. And I think this is not so easy because we don't have experience in this. Our parents usually don't have that sort of love. You know, they maintain a relationship for the good of the children or because it's what they've done and they don't know anything else. But they haven't got that sense of love like Romeo and Juliet, you know, that amazing sense where, you know, all you can do is you want to be with the person and you want to share more and more of who you are with the person, and the person wants to do the same thing. That creates a deep oneness, and this oneness, you know, creates more and more love. I don't see that in today's most people. You know, I don't see that. How to bring that more about? I think you really have to find someone that is the person that you love, you know, not just have an idea. And that takes courage because, you know, sometimes we fall in love with people because they fit into our lifestyle. You know, sometimes you may fall in love with someone that is so totally different from what you expect or what you think. And that is usually a sign that that person is more your complementary rather than, you know, just the normal relationships of finding someone that is fits into the picture of your mind.
And if someone is currently in a relationship
Yes.
and would like to create a relationship as you described it,
This is possible.
is it possible? I mean, should he or she try it with the partner that he's with? Or is it absolutely necessary for the partner also to be open to it? Or
Of course.
yeah, one person cannot do it on their own.
Absolutely not. Because love is about connection. And if there is no connection, to pretend that there is a connection is also what people have been doing in the Western world for a very long time. You know, it's a pretend, it's a game, it's a dream, hoping that the person will eventually change and that, you know, they will recognize your love. And that cannot happen because the alchemical process requires that both people in the moment are open in that way to each other. And if the other person is not open, then, you know, you're being more like a mother or a sister or a brother. You know, you're not really. And people have that sort of relationship, you know, where they mother or father each other, or, you know, are more friends, good friends, but, you know, not real, not the profound love that I'm speaking about. So it requires that the other person is open. But if both people are open, it is possible to come to an understanding, to let go of the old reference points. And this requires courage, and this is what I teach in my retreats. You know, how can you do this? You know, it's difficult. When you have a habit, when you're used to doing something in a relationship, the tendency is to fall into that habit. And if you don't know that you can do something differently, or you haven't got experience, then, you know, even if both of you want to change, you know, it's not that easy. So this is why, you know, I teach many very core things that one can incorporate in their life to change a relationship from being one that is not very deep to being one where, you know, everything is communicated and everything is beautifully open. One of the first things is honesty, and being honest is not just, you know, speaking, but really revealing who you are with courage and with trust. And I find most relationships have a level of honesty, but not a complete honesty. And I think this is because, you know, society is very superficial. You know, it's all about image, and that gets carried on in our emotional makeup. So this is what I work with, and the way I do this is by going through different aspects of ourselves in meditation that may limit that honesty and openness from happening. And first we have to start with ourselves, you know, to see what we do that doesn't really show who we are to the world. And, you know, it's easier to do this internally through meditation, and it's a whole process that takes many days. And once you do this, you know, it is very good to have the support of your partner to continue to go deeper and further. And when you know and you trust and you're honest and open to your partner, they can support you and you can support them. And that support then leads to a very mystical space. You know, you go from love to divine love. Difficult to put into words, but I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Well, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your wisdom.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wish for you to have the courage to create a deep and loving relationship. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.